As I speak to you, today is the third Sunday since Easter. And we have been thinking and reflecting upon the resurrection appearances of Jesus following his death and resurrection. There were two people who walked along the Emmaus Road. There were the disciples upon the beach. And today we meet the disciple called Thomas. And if ever you hear about the New Testament character Thomas, it's always preceded by the word doubting. So people mention Thomas, and he is doubting Thomas. He is the one who doubted that Jesus was alive. He said, "Unless I see, I will not believe." Thomas was also the one who sometime before, in fact just 10 days before the events of today's reading, that said to Jesus, "Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way?" And there are occasions when all of us have a little bit of Thomas. We all doubt. And in some ways, we all reflect upon those words when things get difficult, when perhaps we can't quite see the way forward, when things are uncertain, when times for us bring anxiety and worry. There's always a little bit of Thomas. I'm going to read to you now a little reflection called Thinking Aloud the Thoughts of Thomas. I expected him to give me a row. Not as you might think for doubting. We all do that. We're all doubted at different times in different ways. But he was never angry. Indeed, he doubted himself sometimes. Or even if he didn't, he certainly understood how it felt. He would sing psalms and songs with great fervour, reflecting the doubts of those from years ago. Doubt wasn't an enemy to him. He could stand doubting, but it was indifference that he couldn't stand. Apathy and indifference. I expected him to give me a row, perhaps for making those conditions. I did it. I'm not going to deny it. If only I could see. If only. Fancy me saying that if only you showed me this, I would believe. Thinking that I could make conditions with God. But he didn't take me to task. He saw that I was happy that I had seen him, and that the others were happy also, those who believed without making conditions, without saying if only or unless. I expected him to give me a row, not because I wasn't there when he came. The others were present, I was absent. I wasn't there. It was my fault, all mine. I had, for whatever reason, decided that it was finished. It was over. He was gone. But he came back and told me that it was all the beginning. I expected him to give me a row, but he didn't. He just held out his hand. And more than that, with his hand, he gave me his peace. Like ourselves, Thomas doubts. He wants the comfort of human touch, the proof of love, the certainty, overwhelming knowledge that Jesus is alive. There are many things in our lives that we believe that we cannot see. There are things all around us which every day we take for granted. We cannot see their inner workings. We cannot see what is behind what happens, and yet we believe. Jesus says, "Blessed are those who have not seen, yet have believed." In the anxiety, in the worry, in the doubt of Thomas's mind, nobody can convince him. Not even his fellow disciples, who say with such enthusiasm, "Jesus is alive, Jesus is alive. We've seen him, he is alive." Yet Thomas says, "I don't know the way. Unless I see, I will not believe." And his anxiety and his fear and his doubt is eased as Jesus reaches out his hand and says to Thomas, "Touch." And it's in that power of human touch that Thomas is convinced. Jesus reaches out his hand to us in our doubts and worries, in our anxieties, in our fears, and reminds us constantly of his love. On the occasions when we don't know the way, on the occasions when we're uncertain, on the occasions when perhaps we doubt what's going on even in our own minds, when we're not prepared to listen to anyone else, Jesus reaches out to us. Today, Jesus reaches out to you. The Christian church and Christian people call that faith. And our faith is rooted deep in the experience of Easter and the joy in the knowledge that Jesus is alive and alive forevermore. Have a good day. Thank you very much.